Hello. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Man, am I annoyed with my OBS. Apologies. This is the second time that this has happened where you guys have probably been waiting for the scheduled event and then needed to change links. I don't know what's going on. I have to troubleshoot that a little bit more. But anyways, we're going to give a market update and want to talk about Bitcoin. We just got a weekly candle close that confirmed the green wave. So the wave was red, we were bearish. Now the wave is green, we are bullish. So we're going to go over that. Just got the weekly close. And we're going to talk about levels. All right. So without any further ado, let's jump in to the king of all crypto, and that is Bitcoin. Starting off on the weekly, we just got our weekly close. Let's start things off on the weekly. We've drawn this several times. We're going to draw it again. This is the level to beat right here at 30K. This is a very significant resistance level that we are currently in. Let's make that a little bit smaller. Something like that. It's debatable if we're still in it. It's debatable if we haven't breached it yet. Let's go more conservative, something like that. Say we're still underneath it. We need a good, clean, clear break of 32K. Current high, well, we did beat the current high, but we need to get above this level with some volume. I think that we're going to do that. I think that we have momentum in the market currently. I think that we're going to break past this 30K level. We'll talk about what we could expect as far as confluence in certain areas. There is a lot of confluence up here. This general area up here, right at around 45 to 47. And honestly, there's not a lot in the way to get us to that point. You might see a little bit of resistance at 35, 36, but I think it'll be short-lived resistance. Bitcoin is looking strong in the short term. Let's go down to smaller time frames here. Let's head on down to the daily. And let's get rid of that 30K macro resistance just for a little bit. And let's talk about this area right here. Now, Bitcoin has a habit of rallying and then leaving people behind. Okay. Now, a lot of people, they get either shaken out or they just refuse to join in because they feel that a retracement is coming. Now, typically in Bitcoin's fashion is it will break out and it will just go. And the retracement will come, but it'll come several months later as a part of its macro consolidation. Bitcoin is either consolidating or it's mooning. It's kind of like nowhere in between. So how do you measure the health of that? How do you measure the health of a potential retracement? Basically, I think a good tool to use is actually Fibonacci's. So let's pull out a fib here. And basically, you want Bitcoin to be hot. It needs to be volatile. So right now, we're in the 0.236 area. If we came down and retested the 0.236, that's going to be a very bullish area. The higher we are in the Fibonacci, the more bullish Bitcoin is. The lower you go down, the more neutral / bearish Bitcoin is. Any retracement below the 50 in this condition will probably prompt Bitcoin to be to continue to consolidate. But if we stay in the 236 or the 382, these two top bands, I think that that's going to be pretty bullish. Now, the other option is we just break out here. Let's take a look at the 4-hour and see what we can see as far as some hints and clues. There is a little bit of a divergence, a bullish divergence. You can see higher lows while there are lower lows on the RSI. So there is inkling, but there's also the bearish side as well, right? We're up against a serious resistance and you've got a bearish divergence. So typically speaking, the higher time frame stuff is going to be what you would listen to. We are at a macro resistance, but we can absolutely get above that resistance. And I think once we get above it, it's really going to start to heat up. B-Man, welcome to the chat. Cali Trader, what is going on? There has not been a lot of volume from 25 to 30 when poking around over months of trading. Your thoughts? There's not a lot of volume in the market, period. Now, volume is nice, but volume is not necessary. We're in a bear market, okay? Nobody cares. Nobody cares about Bitcoin. Nobody cares about crypto. The people who are still here, you know, keeping a finger on the pulse, we're not going to show up in volume. Volume is low. Volume is down. So we don't need to worry. We don't need to concern ourselves too much with volume. The order books are very thin. You can move price very easily. Volume becomes a lot more useful as a tool when you are in a more bullish environment, or you are at the conclusion of a downwards trend. So if we just zoom out here, let's get rid of the fib. You know, there are these volume spikes. You can see these spikes right here. Let's pull it up. You've got a spike here, you got a spike here, and you got a spike here. And what are these? Well, this is the capitulation candle here into the preliminary support range, which was at that 30K level. Oh, wow, I can't draw. We've got the seller's climax candle right here. And we've got our last little capitulation move. I don't care that volume is declining as price is expanding because we're in a bear market. The order book is just, it's thin. Natural demand is going to take over and you're going to have the price follow through. So I'm not focused too much on volume right now. I'm more so focused on price action and momentum and what Alpha Numerics is doing. So let's just turn on Alpha Numerics. And this is our bias. You know, we can remove, let's really clean up what Alpha Numerics looks like here. And let's turn off all this stuff. And all we need is that. This is our bull market, bear market bias. When this is green, we are bullish. When this is red, we are bearish. And it has been a very favorable strategy to trade alongside with those biases. Currently, we just confirmed a green candle, so we're bullish. We're going to be looking at the market from a bullish lens. Now let's turn everything that I turned off back on. And we can take a look at some of the EMAs. Sorry, the moving averages. I'm using simple moving averages, not exponential moving averages. And let's go down to the 3-day. Now, we're about to have a 3-day bullish cross. I don't know if you can see that. The blue line is about to cross the red line. That is the 7 about to cross the 30. That's another signal that momentum is back in the market. So we have our bias flipped to bullish. We have our momentum signal about to flash. Things are looking good. Things are looking good. Let's take a look at things on the daily. We could probably react back down to 30,000 even here on the daily and get a bounce off of the 7. No matter which way you look at it, this move is strong. And I assume that we're going to break through this 30K level. Okay. Now let's just, for fun, Charlie was in the group doing point and figure counts. So let's do a point and figure count on this consolidation. And let's see what kind of a count we can come up with. So I'm going to turn Alpha Numerics off. If this is your first time seeing a point and figure chart, it is not a time-based chart. It is a volatility-based chart. I'm not going to go into it too much, but you can count these columns to determine a range at which you could see price settling down. So I'm going to go from here to here, and that is 38 bars. So I'm going to take 38. I'm going to times that by the box size, which is 150. You can see that up here, 150. times the box reversal size, which is 3 up here. Sorry if you've never done PNF. This is quite foreign. And that gives us a box value of 17,100. Now, if we go to the top here, this is a high of this consolidation at 30,900. So I'll just add 30,009. And that's 48,000 bucks. So let's add a target of 48,000. And let's zoom back out. Let's turn the normal candlesticks back on, and let's bring that, and you can look at the confluence of this area. So we have a ton of things pointing to this general area. We can also do a fib extension to find even more confluence in this area. So we've got the support/resistance flip. We've got the point and figure count going up to 47,000. And we've got a trend-based fib extension. So let's do that. And that's giving us the range between the 1.618 and the 1.272 up in here. So a lot of things, a lot of targets pointing us up in that general range of around $44,000 to $50,000. I think we hit it. I think we break out. You know, if I'm going to predict, we try not to predict on this channel. You know, technical analysis is a tool of measurement. It's a tool of strategy. It's a tool of creating a bias and positioning alongside that bias. It does not predict the future. But based off of my experience in price cycles and based off of what I've seen in historical price patterns and charts, there's definitely a plausible probability that we are bullish and that we are looking at continuation to the upside. All right, let's take a look at some other things. Bitcoin dominance. Now, this is an interesting one for a lot of people. You know, if you are trading altcoins short term, Catherine was pointing out that she was playing oversold bounces in the private group. Playing an oversold bounce, fantastic. You're obviously going to get some nice percentage points. You can get 10, 20, 30% sometimes off of those bounces. But if you're looking for portfolio allocation and you're looking for those long cycle trades, when this is trending up, you do not want to be a holder of altcoins. You might get short-term outperformance, but long-term outperformance you are not going to see as long as this continues to climb. And I think we're actually going to climb back up to 60%, which is not going to be an ideal time to be in altcoins. That being said, if we do get a rejection at the 60, coming back down will be a fabulous time to be an altcoin trader. But we're not there yet. This chart is continuing to trend to the upside. As long as we keep printing green candles on this chart, I have no interest whatsoever in allocating towards altcoins. The other way that you can look at this as well is looking at the coin that you're looking to purchase, whether it's Matic, Solana, whatever the coin, I don't care. Don't look at it in dollar terms. Look at it in Bitcoin terms. Bitcoin is performing. Bitcoin is rallying and leading the market, right? So if you are going to buy an altcoin, you need to make sure that it is outperforming the market leader. You need to make sure that it is outperforming Bitcoin. And the easiest way for you to do that is to just look at the Bitcoin pair. So here's Ethereum BTC. What are we seeing? We're seeing red candles. Okay, does that mean Ethereum is going down in value? No, you have green candles on the dollar. So what does this actually mean? This means that, where's my cursor? This means that yes, Ethereum is going up in value, but it is going up in value at a slower rate than Bitcoin. So this image that Bitcoin is slow and not going to provide you with gains is false. it is matching pound for pound the exact same amount as Ethereum, with Ethereum making you just a little bit less money. So just take that into consideration, whatever it is that you're looking at. You know, maybe you want to look at purchasing Solana. Let's take a look at Solana real quick. Here's Solana right here. Solana is looking terrible on the dollar pair. And now let's take a look at Sol BTC. It looks even worse on the Bitcoin pair. If you're not seeing green candles on the Bitcoin pair while Bitcoin is moving up, it's not outperforming Bitcoin. I cannot stress this enough. I know that this is kind of hard for people to conceptualize because they think about their value in terms of dollars. They always revert to dollars when they're counting. But if you can begin to just look at the performance of Bitcoin in dollars and then pair that back on altcoin performance, you're going to find yourself on the receiving end of better trades. Trust me on that one. All right, let's go back to BTC. So yeah, I'm looking at 5 million sats per ETH for this to retrace to, which would be down in this area back here. So Ethereum it'll cost 5 million Satoshis to buy one Ethereum, I think, in the coming days. Now that can mean that it's a higher price, but only in dollar terms. We're focused on Bitcoin and Bitcoin performance right now. How can I join the private group? Cali Trader, you're in it, man. You are in it. It is free for the bot users. There is you're in it. All right, let's take a look at, we took a look at Ethereum. Now the dollar, the DXY. We want to see this trend down. Let's go over to the 3-day chart. What can we see as far as momentum? Momentum is still bullish on the dollar for alphanumerics. And we're consolidating in a tightening range. Now, this is a falling wedge, or a falling triangle formation. A descending triangle formation. Now, these typically break down, but it doesn't have to. And this is also a currency pair, and it's an index. So you do have to take a lot of this with a grain of sand. So just look at the general range here. We have a low, we have a lower high, we have a higher low, we have a lower high. So effectively, it's just coiling up, and it will make a decision, whether it makes a decision to break to the downside, which will be very favorable for risk on assets, or it will break to the upside, which will cause a lot of contraction, and you'll see a dump in equities. You'll see a dump in the S&P if this begins to rally out of this consolidation. But currently, we're just simply consolidating. Good day to you, the whimsy, whimsy trades. All right, taking a look at the S&P 500. We have room to come down, but we can also just stay on top of this level right here at the prior high. So, if we are to remain bullish here on the S&P, then we get a bounce at this area. If we break down, then I'd be looking down at 422 for an area of the retest of this reclaim here. This reclaim is based off of the weekly chart. Yeah, where it was resistance, support, kind of fudging it with that one on the resistance, and we broke through. The S&P is not as clean as the NASDAQ. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. And the NASDAQ's really rallying pretty hard, considering this, we're seeing a lot of confidence in the high risk assets. Now, that's not really translating across the board. There are outliers. We can dive into some stocks. If you guys want to spam some stock tickers, feel free. But yeah, there's plenty of room to the downside, especially when we do the comparative of the last high. There's a lot more room coming down to the prior high here on the NASDAQ than there is on the S&P. So take that into consideration. We could consolidate. We could continue the bullish rally. But in the context that we come down, I think crypto is very delicate right now. So if we start to see the NASDAQ come down, what would be the percentage on that? Oops, go back. That would be about an 8%, 7.5% correction, and about 10% from the high. Yeah, 10% correction from the high. Still healthy for a bullish trend, but a 10% correction in the NASDAQ would probably equate to a much larger correction in the higher risk altcoins and Bitcoin. Taking a look at gold. Gold is pretty interesting. Triple top. It's in a consolidation up here at the prior. It almost looks like a Wyckoff accumulation. It's a reaccumulation. Let's actually pull up reaccumulation after decline. All right, let's just take a look at it. So we have our distribution into a lower accumulation into an upwards trending environment. Actually, you know what? It could also be this one, reaccumulation with uprise. So you've got, let's actually compare. Yeah, you know what? It kind of looks more like this one right here. So you have your buyer's climax automatic reaction or automatic rally shakeout. So that's this back here. And then it comes up and consolidates for a while just above the area of the prior high. That's what we're seeing here. So basically, the easy way to attack this one, the easy way to dissect this as far as an actionable event from a Wyckoff point of view would be to just get a breakout of the resistance, which we have marked right here. This is the resistance. So we can even squeak that down just a little bit, give ourselves a tighter range. Now, you are introducing the possibility of fake outs, as we have had a fake out here once, twice, 3 times. But if we can start to close candle body closes on monthly, like high time frame candles above this level at around 2000, the psychological 2000 level on a monthly close, that'll be a bullish sign. Hasn't happened yet, but we're working our way up. This is poised for a breakout, especially if we can hold the level here at the top of the trading range. So as long as we don't fall below 1800, so that's our range. We're between 2000 and 1800, a $200 spread. As long as we can stay in that range and not go below 1800, it's looking good. And I would expect a breakout. And yeah, I think gold could go for a rally. Could go for a rally. The last time it did something similar, I mean, it's a similar scenario as to what we saw down here. Right? It created a range. It fell way below the range on a rounded bottom, got back on top, struggled to get past, and then went on a pretty substantial rally. So what would that look like if we got a breakout? You'd be looking at about 100% move. So you'd be looking at $4,000, just under $4,000. Might even go to 5. Psychological numbers come into play at that point. So yeah, that's gold. It's looking good. Cardano. Ooh, and now we're getting into the altcoins. The altcoins are not a good place to be right now. Just putting it out there. Let's go to the weekly chart. And that's due to Bitcoin dominance. Again, as long as that chart is printing green candles, you don't even worry about altcoins, because I can guarantee if you're holding Bitcoin and that chart is climbing and you're holding long term, you're not trying to scalp little trades. You're making more money in Bitcoin. That's what the chart means. When the chart is making green candles on that chart and you're holding Bitcoin, you're making more money holding Bitcoin than you are holding altcoins. Don't fall into this trap, okay? Everybody says you can't make money on Bitcoin. It's fucking bullshit. It is bullshit, okay? Don't believe it. Don't fall into these stupid narratives of all these people that just won't touch Bitcoin. Like, why are you getting advice from these people? They don't know what they're doing. They've never seen profits in their life, probably. It's true that in a bull market, they vastly outperform Bitcoin, but that's a 4-month period. You have 4 months every 4 years where it's good to be in altcoins. Don't jump the gun too soon. Now, for those who are long-term accumulating, I'm also going to say that, you might be waiting a while and you might not be making as much money as Bitcoin, but this is also a tight range in an accumulation zone. So it really depends. Like, do your own research, support the projects that you believe in, and take some bets. You have a much better chance of making money in Cardano down here than you did at any point of all of the hype that was happening in the previous cycle. So, it depends on your strategy. If you're trying to make money right now, the place to be is Bitcoin. If you're trying to make money in 2025, then it might not be a bad idea to be accumulating Cardano at these levels. Binance Coin, just do not trust this coin at all. I do not trust Binance at all. I find it very, 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 very suspicious that Binance is only down 73%. I find that very suspicious. You cannot manipulate the market forever. You cannot manipulate coins forever. And this is clear manipulation. This is clear manipulation. It has never happened in the history of crypto, and nobody can sit here and tell me that BNB is a more valuable project than Bitcoin. I'm sorry, it's not. Bitcoin had a 77% correction, and BNB had a 73% correction. That is very suspicious. Do with that information what you will. I'm just putting it out there that I find that very odd. And as a result, my analysis of BNB is biased. I do not trust it. Therefore, I'm looking at it in a bearish light. Alpha Numerics currently agrees with me. We are bearish on BNB as far as Alpha Numerics is concerned. And I think if we take out the low at 183, this thing could quite easily, there's nothing holding it up. There's nothing holding it up till $50. Like, once you lose these levels, there's nothing. No structure was built on the way up. None. Zero. So do be careful if you are a BNB investor. It's just, it's very fishy, very fishy. Bitcoin Cash had a nice little pump. And now it's funny how Twitter is just like, Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin. And guys, you know what the real Bitcoin is? The real Bitcoin is whatever fork of Bitcoin holds more than 1% of the value of the other coin. Bitcoin Cash is less than 1% as valuable as Bitcoin. It's not Bitcoin. I don't care what you think. It's not Bitcoin. It had a nice little pump, and I'm sure some narratives will begin to develop as a result of Bitcoin. Really, there is a trade here. So let me explain my thesis on this trade. With ordinal inscriptions and everything that's going on with the Bitcoin network, we're going to see fees on the Bitcoin network like we've probably never seen before. This cycle is really going to call to question how much throughput is actually possible on Bitcoin when we go to scale. We're going to run into scaling issues, I think, this cycle. And a lot of people are just going to take the easy route, and they're going to be like, well, we should just be in Bitcoin Cash, or we should be in Satoshi's Vision. They're going to just say that we need bigger blocks. Bigger blocks create less decentralization. Bigger blocks are not a good thing. This has been something that's been debated for a very long time. And I just don't think that it's really up for debate anymore. But, as people come in and as people are new, they're going to have to learn things the hard way. And there's going to be narratives. You're going to have a lot of people saying Bitcoin is broken and we have to use Bitcoin Cash, or Bitcoin is broken, we have to use Bitcoin's Satoshi's vision. No, but you will get rallies. You will get rallies. And from a Wyckoff point of view, this is a sign of strength move. Sign of strength. So we are out. I think if we get a consolidation, some sort of backup on top of the range and hold it and break past that, boom, this is your entry into Bitcoin Cash right here. And then I did do a point and figure count earlier that did give me a range up here at around $500 for a target of a breakout. I don't think that we see new all-time highs in Bitcoin Cash. It depends how long the Bitcoin rally is, but I would just assume that we probably don't see this hyperbolic 1600 per Bitcoin Cash again. We might get up into this consolidation of the distribution up at around $500. Also a psychological level as well. Alan, sup bud, would BlackBox have taken the trade yet? Yes, BlackBox has entered the trade. BlackBox is 100% long. And it's unfortunate that it's not ready till July 10th, but we will have an opt-in button so you can just FOMO in and let BlackBox trade from that point forwards. Because the signals are so few and far between on BlackBox, we had to add that functionality because we know people aren't going to want to sit around and wait for the next available entry. And we will have a feature called Next Best Buy. So Next Best Buy on BlackBox will get you in the next best buy, which will be kind of a lower time frame, 4-hour entry type strategy. And then from there, once you're in, it'll manage the position automatically. If you guys are interested, check out blackbox.pro, blkbox.pro. It's a free Bitcoin trading bot. It's not ready, but you can get signed up for early access. It'll be launched on July 10th. You can get the account set up. You can get the API connected. You can get everything done ahead of time so that on July 10th, it'll only take you a few seconds to activate the bot. Links below for that. All right, now that we have a weekly close and a green wave, I assume you are long on Bitcoin. How do you set your take profit and stop loss for your trade? So because we trade momentum and moving averages, we don't do take profits. We watch for market conditions to tell us to take profits. So an example, let's go over to Bitcoin. Yeah, we're not trading a range, so there's not predetermined take profits. You get take profit signals. You can see these red diamonds right here. This is when the market's really overheated. So there was basically 2 times in the prior cycle where it was telling you to take profits. It was telling you to take profits right around the all-time high break, the prior all-time high break. And then it was telling you to take profits at basically the market cycle high, where the preliminary supply for the distribution came in. And then as far as closes, let me just turn price off. It closes positions once you get these crosses. So you ride it up, you're taking profits along the way, you close the position at the top. You ride it up, take profits along the way, close positions at the top. So yeah, when you're trading a range, you have your support and resistance. You want to catch the meat in the middle, and you're setting take profit zones either at the midpoint of the range or at the just below the upper point of the range. That's not what we're doing here. We're capturing bull market moves, and we want to stay in the trade as long as possible. So until momentum shifts against us, we're in, and we're just looking for signals to either take profits or close the position entirely. When will BlackBox video be released? Well, as soon as the front end is done. This is the problem. So the developer has been working and sees everything going on with BlackBox, but it's all back end. We have no front end available. So until it's launched, I can't make a video about it. But it's coming. You guys are early. You're early. We want to give you as much value as we can. We want to get you hooked up on as many things as we can ahead of time, so that when we're fully operational, you've already learned a lot of the strategy and you kind of get what we're trying to do. But yeah, we still have a lot to build, and a lot of that needs to wait until we have some front end stuff to show off some P&L on the dashboard, and we're waiting for a lot of stuff once we actually have all that stuff ready to go. All right, where were we? Bitcoin Cash. Let's take a look at Doge. The joke. Whales love this joke. Whales like to fuck with Doge. Just saying. Not financial advice. This is, after all, quite literally a joke. Let's draw a range right here. Super weak. Super, super weak. So again, not an altcoin that I have any desire to hold at this point, because Bitcoin is doing better. And all of the data that we look at shows that Bitcoin is doing better. But if you are looking to accumulate this for the cycle, I mean, we're flat. We're not going to fall anymore. Now, things are still volatile when you're down this low. It doesn't take a very large red candle to lose 20%. But I think that this is the bottom. You're sitting at the floor. So don't trip over dollars trying to pick up pennies with this kind of stuff. Now, super controversial, Hex. The only reason Hex is on the watch list is I think that there's an arbitrage opportunity coming up once the Hex Pulse chain bridge is opened. I think that the bottom will be in once that has opened. Do not recommend holding this. Please do your own research. And if you are going to do your own research, please make sure that you are emotionally prepared to fight and find information inside of a cult. Don't recommend this, but I do like to share opportunities where I see them. And I do think that Hex's price is suppressed enough, and fundamentally there is a potential arbitrage opportunity in this, that there could be positive price action, but you will be holding a scam. So please take that into consideration. Don't put a lot of money into a fucking scam. Litecoin. Litecoin just wants to break that barrier. So a lot of bullish narrative with the halving. It should be less than a month away now. Does anything happen as a result of the halving? We'll have to see. But as long as we're below this line, as long as we're below the psychological $100, we need to assume that we're going to stay below it. So let's take a look at what Alphanumerics thinks. Alphanumerics just flipped to bearish here on Litecoin. So it's bullish on Bitcoin. It is bearish on Litecoin until we can get above, again, $100. $100 is a very important level for Litecoin. If we're below 100, we'll probably stay below 100. Solana, nothing too exciting if you're wanting to hold this from a cycle point of view. If it's a project that you really like and you think it's at a good discount for the next cycle, that could be the case. I will, however, just mention my thoughts, and this will be the highest price of Solana ever. $267.52. I think was the top of Solana. And in the context of a bull market, we might be able to get back up there, but I don't think that we're going to break a new all-time high. That's just something that I think be happy to be proven wrong, because the scaling solutions that are happening on Ethereum, and because of a lot of the focus, in my opinion, is going to shift over to Bitcoin. A lot of these other layer ones are going to suffer as a result. Your latest tutorial videos for bin money. Do you think you could do one for setting up the API and other relevant info for BlackBox? Something for us lames. Alan, funny you should say so. It's right in the Discord, brother. So if you go into the BlackBox Trading Bots Discord, go down to guides. And here is the step-by-step guide. I'll drop a link to you. Oh, I can't. But yeah, just go, you'll see it, connect BlackBox API to BitGet. It's right there, step by step, with videos. If you're a video guy, there's 2 videos. So go check that out. What do you think about Mara? Let's take a look. Actually, am I done the altcoins? I got XRP left. Can't leave out XRP. Can't leave out the financial currency of the future. Being facetious, I fucking hate XRP. I know a lot of people love it. Okay. And I will also say that based off of this consolidation, it looks like it can go up. Okay. Let's just get that out of the way. I hate it, but I'm just one guy. The market's a whole thing. We're trending up. I think if we can break past 55 cents, that's going to be a very pivotal point for XRP, and it could heat up from that point, especially if there is a SEC ruling in their favor. It could be good for XRP. I don't think it's good for the world, but it could be good for the portfolio. All right, Mara is a mining stock. Still ranging. I would like to take a look at this, compare it to Bitcoin. Let's do a comparison. Comparative analysis. Why is it not adding? Monero BTC on the weekly? That's a good one. We'll take a look at that. Why can't I add a ticker? What's going on? Usually. Well, let's just see what happens if I do plus. Does that do anything? No. Plus feature's not working right now. Let me try it over here. Okay. There we go. All right. Man, it's like Bitcoin on leverage. All right. Let's do year in frame. No, 5 years in frame. Okay, so Bitcoin is outperforming Mara. It's highly correlated, as you can see here. Mara is up 190% from the low, whereas in the 5-year period, Bitcoin is up 395% from the low of the 5-year period. Let's do year to date. Year to date, however, Mara has been outperforming Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is 84% up on the year, and Mara is up 273% on the year. So short term, it's been doing well. Long term, not so much. But we're talking about the equity of a stock in contrast to like a cryptocurrency bull market. Obviously, Bitcoin did better in the bull market conditions. Let's take a look at a full year. Bitcoin is up 45% in a 1-year period. Mara is up 80% in a 1-year period. Now let's remove Bitcoin and let's go back to the candlestick chart. And we're still in range. So, until we can get above $19, Mara is probably going to remain range bound. It's very plausible that we begin to trend up here, especially if we get positive sentiment in Bitcoin. We could get a sign of strength breakout and a backup. And then that would start the bullish trend for Mara. All right, let's take a look at Monero BTC. XMR BTC on the weekly. Seems to be bottoming, which makes sense. So, basically when you're in this kind of range, you know, when we're in this general area, the movements of Bitcoin are going to be highly correlated with the movements of Monero are going to be highly correlated with the movements of Bitcoin. You're in an accumulation zone. If you are a Monero fan, this could work for you. I will say from the fundamentals, I always gotta throw the little bearish fundamentals into the mix. But Monero's claim to fame is obviously privacy. There are a lot of privacy features that are being added to Bitcoin on other layers, not on base layer. But you have the Liquid network. You also have the Lightning network. There's a lot of privacy that's being built into Bitcoin. So the narrative that Monero is private is not as, it's still true, but how much more privacy are you going to get with Monero over Bitcoin when Bitcoin has so much more vendor adoption? It's up to you. But, from an accumulation standpoint, we're in the accumulation zone. We can ebb and flow, about 100% on your sats, but we're at the lower end of the range. So it's probably not a bad idea to scoop some up. Let's take a look at the dollar pair, XMR USD. I don't know what that is. And yeah, we got a little bit of a range here. It's not the prettiest chart. It's quite choppy. But we do have a little bit of a range. Somewhat. It's kind of hard to guess if this is going to go up or down. If it tracks along with the rest of crypto, it'll potentially go up, but it's a pretty ugly consolidation. Let's see if we can find anything a little. Yeah, I don't even know how to look at this one. It's kind of just an anomaly. I think a lot of people have forgotten about Monero. There's its core base of users that are very, very fond. But you don't hear people talking about Monero very much. So it's basically just its core users. Part of that is due to the fact that you can't really buy it anywhere. And with exchanges getting a lot more strict, specifically with withdrawals. I don't know if you guys have done withdrawals with Coinbase or Binance lately, but they're asking, is this a wallet you control? Whose wallet is this? Can you do brief KYC? If it's not your wallet, who are you sending it to? Fiat onboarding and offboarding is getting a lot more strict, and I would not be surprised if that really forces Monero to never really get into the public eye again. It'll always kind of be an underground currency, a currency for the dark net, which is very niche. So, we could say that Monero's high is $550. Now, as we transition to a more decentralized internet, that could flip, that narrative could flip. But I think as long as people are trading on Binance and as long as people are trading on these centralized custodial services, it's going to be hard for you to justify a Monero position. And I don't really even know how to draw a line on this one. Let's just draw one stupid line through the middle here. That's the only one that I can kind of see. And it's currently where we are. This has been the battleground area. Support, resistance, resistance, support, support, resistance, support, resistance, fake out, trying to get back above. Clean break at 200. Let's go a little bit more generous. Clean break of 180, 187. And that'll be the bottom. If it breaks out that high, then the bottom will be in, and the bottom will be set at $96. So this is kind of the range. The closer you can buy at $95, the better. But a break above 187, and it'll probably continue to trend in this upwards rounded direction. Nothing crazy, nothing steep, but it'll just, trend lightly, and then it'll accelerate as the bull market begins to take shape and take off. All right, I think that is all the time I have for today. So we're going to close things out. Thank you all for joining into the stream. I am going to troubleshoot the links because I did have a pre-scheduled live stream that the link didn't work for, so I got to figure out that. But yeah, thank you all for joining in, and until next time, please trade safe. It is a jungle out there. Peace.